Hi, my name is Dr. Benjamin Miller, and today I'm going to share a deeply unsettling secret about restoring your vision, something that the $35 billion eye care industry is desperate to keep you from knowing, so much so that they've already offered me more than $500,000 to keep it to myself. Based on the highly suppressed discoveries of a world-famous Ivy League-educated ophthalmologist, this secret to vision restoration has already helped over 14,450 people to improve their eyesight to near 20/20 vision in less than 21 days, even if their prescription was a staggering minus 6.25 or worse. And this method works for both nearsightedness and farsightedness, because as you will soon discover, both conditions have a similar root cause, and this method eliminates the fundamental cause of poor vision. And they've done it without wasting months of their lives trying popular but ineffective and sometimes dangerous, I'll show you why later, eye training methods, without having to wear unattractive, highly breakable glasses or uncomfortable, even painful contact lenses, and without undergoing any risky or expensive eye surgeries. In fact, what I'm going to tell you about today requires absolutely zero investment in any vision-enhancing products, can safely and easily be mastered by people of all ages, from young children to the elderly, and takes less than 15 minutes a day over a span of about 3 weeks to get your eyesight back to near perfect vision. Now, I know that sounds incredible, perhaps even too good to be true, which is why in the following brief presentation, I'm going to break down all of the science behind this breakthrough method in explicit but easy to understand detail. And after that, I'll share with you how to use this proven method immediately, so that you can begin breaking free of the dependency on your fragile, easily shattered glasses or uncomfortable contact lenses, while enjoying dramatically better vision than you have in years or decades, or even your entire life. And just like the more than 14,500 Americans who have already experienced the results of this powerful vision restoration method for themselves, people like Richie Townsend of Little Rock, Arkansas, who says, "When I was first introduced to your vision restoration method, I was insanely skeptical. It seemed like if there was a way to dramatically improve your eyesight without having to depend on glasses or contact lenses, I would have already known about it. Since you guaranteed it would work, however, I decided there was no harm in giving it a try, and wow, am I glad I did. It's only been 17 days, and already I'm seeing more clearly and with more sharp focus than ever before in my life. Thank you." And Sammy Longwood of Odessa, Texas, who writes, "I first found out about this eye training method from your father nearly 14 years ago. But before that, I was one prescription change away from being legally blind. In just a month's time, however, my glasses prescription went from a -7 to a -2.25. Less than 2 months after that, I was tested with 20/20 vision. And in the 13 years since then, my vision hasn't regressed one bit. I'm so glad you're carrying on the legacy of your father, Benjamin. We need to get this to as many people as humanly possible." And Rachel Louse of Tempe, Arizona, who writes, "I've always known the eye industry was a scam, but it didn't seem like there were any other options. Sure, I tried alternatives like the Bates method, but for all the hype, I wasn't getting any results. Then I came across your presentation, and everything changed. I simply can't get over the shock of how quickly I've been able to regain my eyesight. I guess in my case, seeing really is believing." The first thing you're probably wondering is who I am and why you should be listening to anything I have to say. As I already mentioned, my name is Dr. Benjamin Miller. I'm a neurologist by training, and I've spent a good part of my professional life conducting clinical research and trials. When it comes to my choice of careers, I guess you could say I followed in the footsteps of my father, a well-respected ophthalmologist who operated his own independent practice for 47 years. Now, there are 2 things you should know about my dad, and they're both extremely relevant to the eye strengthening breakthrough I'll be telling you about today. The first is that my father was a good man who got more satisfaction from helping people than he did from making money. The second is that he was someone who believed medicine was a constantly evolving field, which meant he was constantly looking for new, better solutions to his patients' health problems. I'm sharing these details with you because they'll give you the background you need to understand my father's discovery, something that has the power to fundamentally transform the way people all across our country address their vision problems, and that the $35 billion per year eye care industry is fighting tooth and nail to squash before it gets out into the public. You see, in the early 1980s, my father began noticing something very troubling. The eyesight of virtually every single one of his patients was getting worse. It was extremely confusing and it caused my father a lot of sleepless nights. After all, he was just following the established medical protocols, giving his patients biannual eye exams, then prescribing glasses that would compensate for their vision impairment. So, why did they need increasingly strong prescription lenses year after year? Was he doing something wrong, something that was hurting the very people he had taken an oath to help? The idea terrified my father, and he had to know. So, he began making the hour-and-a-half drive over to the University of Texas's medical library every single night after work. And he spent countless hours poring through the most recent findings in the field of ophthalmology and researching everything he possibly could about the causes of eyesight degeneration. Until late one fateful night in June of 1982, he found himself reading the writings of a man named Dr. William Bates. Now, you may have heard of Dr. William Bates already. He pioneered something called the Bates method, an influential theory that claimed a person could significantly improve their vision and reduce their myopia through regular eye exercises. And while my father quickly realized that the Bates method is significantly outdated, you'll see why in a minute, and can even be dangerous for your eyesight, he also realized that some of the principles behind it were still valid, and could help to explain why his patients were slowly but steadily losing their vision. We'll get to those principles in just a second, but first, let me give you a quick background on Dr. William Bates in case you're unfamiliar with him. With an undergraduate degree from Cornell University and a medical degree from Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons, Dr. Bates was widely considered to be one of the most brilliant eye doctors of the early 20th century. And his famous Bates method is based on three simple ideas. The first is that your eyeballs are surrounded by muscles which control their ability to see. The second is that when these muscles are constantly tense, they put a terrible strain on your eyeballs, thus keeping them out of focus. And the third is that through relaxation techniques, you can reduce the strain on your eyesight and thus free your eyeballs to improve their focus, resulting in major improvements in your vision. Now, as I already mentioned, the Bates method has some serious flaws. For one thing, Dr. Bates based a large portion of his eye exercises around the belief that our eyeballs change shape when focusing on different objects. Unfortunately, with modern technology, it has now been medically proven that this simply does not happen, which makes several of his most popular exercises not only ineffective, but potentially even dangerous. Also, the Bates method assumes one can increase the thickness of the sclera, the white substance on your eyeball, to achieve better eyesight, which modern science has shown to be impossible. Finally, Dr. Bates only developed exercises for those suffering from nearsightedness, but not those suffering from farsightedness or astigmatism. But despite all those shortcomings, my father also noticed that something extremely vital, which is that Dr. Bates had gotten a few important things right. And as my father began to spend more and more hours researching the most up-to-date science and physiology behind how the human eyeball works, he began to formulate his own theory, something that could not only explain why his patients were slowly but steadily losing their vision, but that could also hold the key to reversing the effects of degenerating eyesight, so that virtually any human being on the planet could quickly, easily, and effortlessly restore their vision to near 20/20. You see, just as Dr. Bates had suggested, the human eyeball is indeed surrounded by muscle, or to be even more specific, striated muscle tissue. That's the same type of muscle tissue that's found in other parts of your body, like your biceps, your triceps, and even your leg muscles. But while Dr. Bates incorrectly thought that strained muscle tissue caused the eyeball to change shape, thus making it impossible to focus, my father realized that it's really the strength of the eye's muscle tissue that was behind whether someone's vision was strong or weak. In other words, just like your arm muscles become stronger if you lift weights regularly, your eye muscles can be strengthened through regular exercises. This should make a lot of sense to you because remember, it's the exact same muscle tissue in both cases. And because the above is medically proven to be true, my father also realized that the opposite was true as well. If your eye muscles are never exercised, they continue to get smaller and weaker over time. This was a huge discovery for my dad because it perfectly explained why his patients were steadily experiencing a decline in their eyesight. The problem with glasses and today's contact lenses is that they're essentially doing all the heavy lifting for you, which means even if your eyesight is just mildly below average to begin with, the longer you wear your corrective lenses, the longer you go without exercising your eye muscles, and the worse your eyesight will get. In other words, just as someone who doesn't lift weights gets steadily weaker as they age, someone who never needs to use their eye muscles will get steadily worse eyesight over the years too. So, Dad's research made it pretty clear why Dad's patients needed stronger prescriptions year after year. But even more importantly, his research also suggested that there was an antidote to the problems of poor or deteriorating eyesight, and that perhaps using nothing but some natural training techniques and methods that were based on the Bates method and then significantly improved upon, Dad could help his patients to reverse their bad vision so that they would never need to purchase another pair of glasses or contact lenses or experience that gnawing anxiety that comes from knowing that if they misplaced or broke their glasses while traveling, it could be hours, days, or even weeks before they'd be able to see again, or need to worry about not being able to drive at night because their vision was too weak. Again. Which is why for the next 5 years he worked like a man possessed. He continued his daily trips to the Medical Research Library at UT, and he also expanded his search to encompass the latest findings in human physiology, biology, and neurology. Some of my earliest childhood memories are going on weekend trips with my father, where we'd drive across several state lines just so he could meet with some world-famous eye researchers I'd never heard of. And through the entire time, he took painstaking care to record every single one of his findings, until finally, in the late spring of 1988, he had an eye-strengthening exercise routine that he was convinced could succeed where Dr. Bates had failed. But before my father could start sharing his program with his patients, he had to know that it really, truly worked, and he had to be dead certain that it was 100% safe. So he began testing it on himself. You see, by 1988, my father's glasses prescription was a terribly strong -6.25. And if the vision restoration method that he'd spent 5 years formulating could work for him, then he knew it could do wonders for others whose eyesight wasn't nearly so bad. So, for the next 3 weeks, my father committed himself to his ocular training workout routine. The exercises themselves were actually surprisingly simple, just little things like teaching the eye muscles to autofocus while reading, performing restorative stretching exercises that relax ocular muscles, executing carefully coordinated eye movements that work to strengthen the eyeball. And yet, by the end of the 3rd week, my father was noticing a dramatic difference in his vision. Suddenly, and for the first time in his life, my father was able to read the words on distant signs and billboards, and to see the smiles on his children's faces from across the yard as they played, without the use of glasses. Honestly, it was a little scary for him at first. After so many decades of being completely dependent upon corrective lenses, of always having to worry about whether he'd remember to pack his backup pair of glasses when he traveled to visit relatives, of even not being able to accurately see more than 10 feet in front of him when he went swimming, it felt really strange to go an entire day without needing to put on his glasses even once. As the days continued to go by, however, and as my father continued to do his simple exercises and to enjoy better and better vision as a result of them, that feeling of uneasiness was replaced by something much more powerful, the sensation of total, overwhelming freedom. And with the personal, first-hand proof that the eye-strengthening exercises he'd invented really worked, and could quickly and naturally restore the vision of even someone who was pushing the limits of blindness, my father made it his mission to start sharing his ocular training program with every single patient that walked through his door. By 1993, Dad had helped more than 3,000 patients to completely break free of their dependence upon glasses and corrective lenses. As word spread about what he was doing, people began to come to my father's practice from all over Texas, and even from neighboring states like Oklahoma, Louisiana, and New Mexico, until, by the time my father retired in 2002, more than 14,000 Americans had used his natural eyesight restoration method to achieve nearly 20/20 vision, while ditching their expensive prescription glasses and contact lenses and saving hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in the process. In late 2007, as Dad's health began to falter, I sat down with him and together we began recording his eye-strengthening exercises and vision restoration secrets in explicit detail so that they would be preserved for future generations. When he passed away on October 16, 2009, it was clear that I had a duty to carry on my father's mission to share the eye-strengthening method he's pioneered with as many people as I possibly could. People of all ages who suffer from myopia, farsightedness, astigmatism, and other vision problems that dramatically impacted their quality of life. So I took all of the training exercises along with his specific guidelines for using them and put them into a clearly organized training program, something that anyone would be able to follow along, even if they didn't know the first thing about how the human eye works or had never even passed a 5th-grade science class. And I sent it to the vice president of one of the largest eye care companies in the United States. I nicknamed this program Strong Sight, and I figured it was the best way to get my father's ideas out to the masses. After all, if a nationally recognized and trusted eye care company could suddenly offer their customers the opportunity to permanently restore their vision in a matter of weeks and with no additional visual aids or materials needed, then of course they'd jump at the opportunity, right? Well, unfortunately, there was one little factor I forgot to consider: human greed. Because while 3 weeks later I did get a call back from the eye care company, it wasn't their vice president on the other end of the line. It was their chief legal counsel. And as he quickly told me, they had absolutely no interest in getting my father's eye work out to the public. But they were very interested in sending me a check for $600,000 in exchange for all of his research and the promise that I would never tell another living person about the strong sight eye exercises again. Call me naive, but my initial reaction was total confusion. It just didn't make sense. Why wouldn't this company want to help people to break free of the shackles of their glasses and contacts? And even more importantly, to help them to actually heal their eyes. Wasn't that what they did, and what their whole business was built around? The more I thought about it, though, the more I realized what a fool I'd been. Asking the president of a company like LensCrafters to show people how to fix their vision with glasses or contact lenses is like asking the CEO of Marlboro to stop putting nicotine in the company's cigarettes. In both cases, they know what they're doing is bad for you, but somewhere along the line, they sold their souls for the almighty dollar. I mean, just look at the facts. The National Eye Institute reports that in the 1970s, the number of Americans diagnosed with nearsightedness was 25%, while today, it's a staggering 41%. In 2012, the U.S. eye care market generated $35 billion in revenue, and by 2017, that number is expected to rise to $43 billion in revenue per year. You might think this accounts for an increase in U.S. population, but it doesn't. In fact, last year the U.S. population grew at the slowest rate since the Great Depression. So in other words, the rate at which Americans are being diagnosed with nearsightedness has exploded from 25% to 41%. The rate at which the eye care industry grows is by more than $1 billion per year, and yet the U.S. population is staying basically the same. And it all leads to more diagnosis, more eye care products to sell, more expensive elective surgeries like LASIK, which, by the way, doesn't even bring you permanent results because it doesn't actually make your eye muscles stronger. Suddenly, it became tragically clear. The eye care company I shared father's work with would never want it to reach the public because if it did, they would lose billions upon billions of dollars. It made my blood boil. Not only was this big-shot lawyer trying to keep the truth about eyesight restoration from everyday and deserving Americans, just like you, but he thought that he could just pay me off and that I would be willing to destroy my father's legacy, his entire life's work, for a chunk of money. And once I realized this, it became clear that if I truly wanted to get my father's breakthrough vision restoration training program into the hands of millions of Americans who so desperately needed them, I would have to do it on my own. So, let me introduce the Strong Sight Vision program to you today. Inside, you'll not only find every single eye strengthening exercise that my father ever developed, but also a day-by-day training schedule for you to follow so that you can quickly and easily improve your eye health. You'll also get full, detailed instructions of each eye training technique that's covered, including a step-by-step breakdown of the exact eye movements you need to be making, plus videos of each exercise to go along with them so you can watch and follow along as others perform these eye exercises while having the confidence of knowing you're doing them the right way, plus the scientific facts and research behind every exercise so that you completely understand what you're doing and why it works the way it does. These are the exact same techniques that my father used to help more than 14,000 Americans of all ages and with all sorts of vision impairments safely and naturally restore their vision to near 20/20 eyesight in as little as 3 weeks. The exercises are extremely easy to perform. In fact, most of them simply involve reading, focusing on objects, or performing certain eye movements that exercise the right muscles. And because all you need to strengthen your vision is your own 2 eyes, about 15 minutes per day and the right knowledge, the exercises inside the Strong Sight Vision program can be performed anywhere and at any time, and without even anyone knowing you're doing them. Imagine waking up in 3 weeks from now and seeing the time on your alarm clock in crystal clear detail, or going to the pool with your children or grandchildren and jumping right in, while you vividly see the smiles on their faces as they splash around. or take a cruise with your family, and not being terrified by the fear that if you were to break or misplace your glasses, you could be stuck at sea for days without being able to see. All it takes is about 15 minutes per day for the next 3 weeks to never experience that feeling of vulnerability or having to worry about all the what ifs in life again. What ifs like, what if my contact lens falls out, or I drop my glasses and they get stepped on while I'm out in public? What if I don't have a backup pair and I suddenly find myself stranded and at the mercy of others to come pick me up and drive me home as if I were some helpless child? Or what if my vision keeps getting worse and worse year after year until the government decides to restrict my driver's license, and I can't even enjoy the very basic freedom of getting in my car and going where I please, when I please? There are definitely other solutions out there besides my father's eye strengthening program, but they're just temporary band-aids that mask your vision problems, or even make them worse. Glasses and contacts aren't really an option at all because they're actually responsible for your eyesight deteriorating. Laser eye surgeries like LASIK do improve your vision, and in fact, they can do so dramatically. But besides costing thousands of dollars and causing you to permanently go blind if there's accidentally a mistake, laser eye surgery is also not permanent. At best, your vision will stay at 20/20 for a few years before starting to weaken and degenerate. And that's the beauty of strong sight. Inside it, you learn the training techniques to strengthen your eye muscles forever. They'll always be with you, so that even in 10 years from now, if your vision starts to get worse because of natural aging, you can simply return to the exercises and turn back the hands of time by restoring your vision to near 20/20 levels. There's really nothing like this in the world. That's not to say that there aren't other eye training courses out there, but most of them are decades old, and they really aren't based on most recent medical understandings on how the human eye really works. Plus, most of them are still highly similar to the Bates method, which is not only ineffective, but can actually be dangerous if misused. And I'm absolutely positive that none of these other eye training programs will match the written guarantee I'm about to give you, which promises that my father's program will restore your eyesight in as little as 15 minutes of exercises per day for 21 days, no matter what your personal vision condition is, or provide you with incredibly valuable bonus resources that I'm including with the Strong Sight program at absolutely no cost to you. Here they are. Bonus number 1, the ophthalmologist's eye charts. The first important bonus you're going to receive when you get Strong Sight today is a set of high-definition and printable eye charts. You can use these both for training and to track your results. In fact, having these charts in hand is a lot like going to the eye doctor's office for a vision checkup, except you don't have to pay the $59 examination fee. Bonus number 2, the Instant Relaxation Audio Series. When you say yes to a no-risk trial of the Strong Sight Vision program, you'll also get this series of MP3 tracks that have been scientifically proven to relax your mind while performing your eye training. Developed by some of the top scientists in the world, these tracks can rapidly accelerate the rate at which you master the Strong Sight method. Bonus number 3, unlimited 24/7 email support for an entire year. Once you've gotten your hands on all of the training methods and exercises found inside this program, the chances are extremely high that you won't need any additional help. After all, the entire program was developed so that anyone can quickly and easily return their eyesight to near 20/20 vision almost automatically and in just a few minutes per day. That being said, I also know that there may be times when you have questions or want to confirm that you're doing an eye exercise correctly. That's why I've hired one of the University of Texas's leading eye doctors to provide Strong Sight customers with unlimited 24/7 email support. So if you ever have a question about the program or are unsure about an exercise, or really just want to know anything related to your eyesight at all, simply send us an email and we'll immediately get back to you with the answer or information you need. This last bonus is especially limited, however, as my medical colleague has his own eye care practice to run, and he only has time to provide support for a small handful of people. So by now you're probably wondering what you have to do to get your hands on the Strong Sight program and begin enjoying the life-changing experience of glasses or contact-free 20/20 vision. To be completely honest, when I first told that massive eye care company about the Strong Sight Vision program, I figured they'd offer it to their customers for around $299. That's about 15% of what it costs to get laser eye surgery, and unlike LASIK, the results from this program are forever. And considering that the average American spends $1,250 on eye care every 10 years. A one-time investment of $299 seems completely reasonable to me. But here's the thing. I'm not a member of the eye care industry cartels, and I'm not willing to cheapen my father's life work in pursuit of the almighty dollar. Because this isn't about me getting rich, this is about me getting the tried, tested, and scientifically proven eye-strengthening exercises and techniques he discovered into the hands of as many Americans as humanly possible, which is why when you choose to take back not just your vision, but also your freedom today, you won't be asked to pay the normal $299 or $199 or even $99. Instead, you'll get the entire Strong Sight Vision Training Program, the exercises, the daily training routine, the illustrated charts, the step-by-step videos, the research, the bonus eye charts and audio files, even the 24/7 unlimited support for a one-time completely risk-free investment of $39. Here's how it works. Just click the Add to Cart button that you see at the bottom of your screen right now. Once you do, you'll be taken to a secure checkout page like this, where you'll enter your basic information and complete your order. Then, you'll immediately be redirected to a special members-only area that I've set up. From this special portal, you'll instantly be able to view every piece of material in the program right from your computer, smartphone, or tablet. You'll also be able to download everything and print out as many copies of the exercises and training plan as you'd like. And your decision will be fully backed by my ironclad 60-day, absolutely risk-free 100% money-back guarantee, which means that if you're not 100% happy with the revolutionary eye training methods and techniques found inside the Strong Sight Vision program, if you don't start seeing massive improvements to your vision within the first 3 weeks, or if you're not satisfied with your investment for any reason whatsoever, simply send an email to the address I'll give you in the members area, and I'll immediately refund the entire $39 with absolutely zero questions asked. You see, I want the decision to reclaim your vision to be a complete no-brainer. And frankly, it should be, because in 21 days from now, and for less than the cost of one eye exam, you can permanently restore your vision to 20/20 or even better. But I also understand going out of your comfort zone can be scary at first, and that it feels really nice to know that you can take a test drive without being fully committed. So, all I want you to do right now is to say maybe to my father's eye strengthening method, just like the more than 14,000 Americans before you already have, by clicking the Add to Cart button that's right below this video. I need to warn you, however, that this offer is extremely limited, and you need to act quickly. Even as I write this, some of the largest eye care companies in the world are calling me daily with threats to sue. And while they have no basis whatsoever for doing so, they also have armies of lawyers who they pay tens of millions of dollars to each year, and who I simply can't afford to go up against. Which means that if they do bring me to court, I may have no choice but to take this presentation down immediately. We cannot let the eye care industry cartels win this battle, or censor a program that can help every American who gets it to permanently eliminate their glasses or contacts while vividly seeing every detail of the world around them for the very first time. I urge you to join me in this fight, and to take control of your personal health while saving thousands of dollars in eye care expenses over the coming years. But ultimately, the choice is yours. And the way I see it, there really are only two choices. Choice one is to do nothing. This presentation's almost finished, and you can just let it run to completion and then go on with your day. If this is the decision you make, that's fine, and I wish you all the best. But the next time you're at the ophthalmologist office for another expensive eye exam, and he or she is writing you an even stronger prescription and telling you to buy a new $100 pair of glasses or pay $60 per month for your contact lenses, aren't you going to be thinking about this video and how you could have made a risk-free decision to naturally and permanently restore your vision in just 3 weeks' time? And that brings us to your second option, which is to click the Add to Cart button that's below and experience the Strong Sight Vision program for yourself today. Make this choice, and in just 15 minutes per day for the next 21 days, you can regain your eyesight doing nothing but simple and easy-to-follow exercises. You'll have unlimited email support throughout the entire program so that it feels like you have your own personal eye doctor sitting in the room with you, answering any questions you have, and at absolutely no cost to you. You'll have the follow-along videos that show you in step-by-step detail exactly how each exercise works, and also the illustrations, the daily training routine, and all of the bonuses. And of course, you'll be covered by that full 60-day money-back guarantee, so that if for any reason this program doesn't work as advertised, or your prescription only goes from -5 to -1.25, all you have to do is send me an email, and you'll have your entire investment refunded instantly. If you ask me, it seems like the choice is pretty clear. So go ahead and click the Add to Cart button you see below this video right now, and start your eye-strengthening exercises in the next 15 minutes. I'll see you on the other side. Sincerely, Dr. Benjamin Miller, San Antonio, Texas. Still here? Don't worry, that actually happens a lot. It's pretty common for folks who watch my presentation to feel pretty shocked, pretty unsettled by what they've just been exposed to. You probably have some questions, so I'll do my best to answer a few of the most frequent ones I get right here. 1. Why does the Strong Sight Vision program work while so many other eye training methods fail? Well, for a lot of reasons. For one, it's based on the life work of a brilliant ophthalmologist, my dad, along with decades of medical and scientific research. Also, this is the only method out there that takes a medical and physiological-based approach to strengthening your vision. It's like a weight training program for your eyeballs, except anyone can do it, and it only takes a few minutes per day. There are other programs out there that do talk about building up eye muscles, but both my father and I researched them all, and they're not only not based on any scientific facts, they're even potentially dangerous. So I strongly recommend not taking a risk with someone else, but rather trying the safe and proven method that I've presented you with today. 2. Who will this training program work for? Pretty much everyone. Obviously, you don't want to try it with babies or infants, but for children from about the age of 7 years old on and all the way up to senior citizens who are 90 years of age or even older, Strong Sight will be extremely effective. And because the program is built around strengthening eye muscle rather than any particular vision impairment, it works equally well for those with nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, or almost any other common vision defect you can think of. 3. What happens after I hit the Add to Cart button? Once you hit the Add to Cart button that's at the bottom of the screen, you'll be taken to my secure checkout page. Then, after entering your basic info, you'll be taken to the special Members Only area, where you'll get immediate access to the exercise videos and guides, the training routine, and all of the bonuses. Everything can be viewed right from your computer, smartphone, or tablet, or you can download them to your computer or print everything out. 4. How long will it really take for me to get results? If you're good about following through with your exercises and spend 15 minutes per day on them, you should see dramatic improvements in about 3 weeks. Seriously, and it's guaranteed. 5. What are the terms of that guarantee again? Once you've chosen to get the Strong Sight Vision program, you have a full 60 days to try it out for yourself. If for any reason you're not satisfied, simply send an email to the address I give you in the members area, and I'll instantly refund your entire purchase with no questions asked. Plus, you'll also have access to that 24/7 email support for an entire year. So, if for any reason something is giving you a problem, you only have to shoot us a quick message and we'll give you all the help you need until it's been figured out. 6. How long is this program going to be made available for? It really depends. Like I mentioned earlier, the major eye care companies have been calling me almost daily threatening to sue. As soon as that happens, I'll probably have no choice but to take down this website. I don't want to, but I simply don't have the money to fight against their multi-million-dollar army of lawyers. So if you want to try Strong Sight for yourself risk-free, you really have to act fast. 7. And how do I get my hands on this eyesight restoration training method again? Simply click the Add to Cart button you see below the screen, and in less than 60 seconds from the time you hit that button, you'll already have access to the entire program. So go ahead and do it now.